Why process boundaries is one of the most important steps in process mapping. Establishing process boundaries is one of the most important steps in process mapping. The process boundaries define which activities are to be included in the process and which are considered part of the environment external to the process. It is important to clearly define the activities that are part of the process and those that are external to the process. Without clearly defined boundaries, a project can expand to the point where it can become unmanageable. Many activities related to sales employee expenses are considered outside of the boundaries of Peter expense reporting process map. So basically, process boundaries are the point of interface between the processes. Also, all processes should have only one beginning and one ending point. This flowchart shows the process expense report of Peter Snacker sales personnel. The process started with the expenses incurred. The sales personnel prepares the expense report, makes a copy of it, and attach the receipts for all the expenses over $25 and mails the expense report to the sales manager. The sales manager will review the report and either approves it, mails the expense report to the corporate office, or disapproves it and send it back to the sales personnel and ask for explanation and modification. Extension of process mapping. The development of computer technology, specifically high-quality graphical interfaces, has allowed process mapping tools to evolve beyond the simple symbols of flowcharting. One helpful tool is hierarchical modeling, which is a type of process mapping in which a business process can be described in greater or less detail depending on the task at hand. Figure 7.3 illustrates a hierarchical model of Peter's expense reporting process. The term hierarchical model refers to a type of data analysis structure whereby the data are organized into a tree-like structure or one that employs multi-level modeling. It is used for storing geographic information in file system and also for banking, healthcare, and telecommunications. Hierarchical models provide user the flexibility to move from higher level, less detailed views to the lower level, more detailed views. So parehas lang naman sila pero mapapansin natin na less detailed tong nasa left side compared sa right side. The next one is deployment of swim lane flowchart. So it depicts team member across the top and each aligned vertically under the appropriate employee or team. So kung mapapansin natin dito, nakahiwalay yung task ng salespersons sa sales manager. Next one is basic EPC layout. It shows simple diagram part of the Peter's expense reporting process, and it begins and ends with event. So event must be followed by functions and function must be followed by events. Event process chain uses only two symbols to present a business process. The two structures are events and functions. For events, it is a state of status in the process, while in functions, it is a part of the process where change occurs. The next one is the standardized naming convention for functions and event. So, ginagawa siya to clearly identify and categorize the completion of events with product or services. The next one is end connector function. The figure indicates that the expense report must be recorded and a hard copy must filed. Next is the OR connectors. So, in-indicate lang nito na pwedeng isa or higit pa yung potential outcomes na maaaring magkaroon. It shows the application of the OR connector, which indicates that after payment is processed, the salesperson is notified or the sales manager is notified. Next one is the XOWAR connector. So, pinapakita lang dito na pwedeng gamitin yung XOWAR to represent the manager decision whether to approve or reject the expense report. The next one is the OR connectors with triggering events. So it indicates that preparation of the expense report can be triggered by either of the two events, the end of the trip or the end of the week. It is possible that more than two events could trigger the function. Next one is possible connector and triggering combination. So, pinapakita lang sa table na to yung mga possible connection combination. So, sinasabi na hindi daw possible na magkaroon ng single event connect to multiple function with OR or XOR connectors because events present status or state. Pag yung OR and XOR connectors daw ay nag-lead to multiple outcomes, then a decision is required to decide what path should be followed, and an event cannot produce a decision. The next one is splitting and consolidating paths. So, pinapakita lang dito na pwedeng i-submit ng fitter personnel yung expense report niya through online if meron siyang access sa internet. Otherwise, need niyang gumawa ng report paper. The EPC diagram can be augmented with additional information in EPC. This additional information is called a data element. Kita natin na pinakita dito yung first part ng EPC diagram for fitter expense report process. The diagram also shows data elements, which is the unapproved multi-copy expense report, and organizational elements ay yung salesperson and sales manager. The additional element allows for a more complete description of the process, documenting the who and what aspect of the process. That will be all. Thank you.